Welcome to Universal Consciousness, where we bring truth to light wherever we find it. I'm Dr. Heter.
And I am Mu Skher, also known as Brother Skher, or best known as Brother Skher.
And so today we're going to talk a little bit about our book, Messages to the True Descendants.
Have you ever had these intuition moments? These moments where you say, you know what? I've been here before, or I've seen this before, or I've heard this before. And wouldn't it be wonderful to know the technology behind that? You know, so in the book, Message to the True Descendants, which I'm just going to try to put in the camera here, Message to the True Descendants talks about that technology because nothing's by coincidence.
We want to talk about the technology, and that's what we're going to talk about as we go through and deal with some of the messages. But what I think would be interesting to find out is how you came to have the insight that you have
that I was allowed to put in the book.
Yeah.
When I was very young, 3 or so years old, I was brought to a convent at a young age because my mother had to take care of some things that she had to leave the state for a couple of days. So she left us in a convent. And when she left, I was heartbroken because she was gone, and I didn't know what was going on. And so as soon as she walked away, I can tell the way her goodbyes and the way the people carried me away that it was different from normal. Mm-hmm. So of course, as a child, you're going to cry. You're crying for your parent. You're crying. I wouldn't stop crying. So they put me in this room by myself from the other children so that I didn't disturb the night or the sleep for the other children. So they separated me so I wouldn't make all that noise, but I'm still crying. And so they put me in this room in the middle of the floor by myself, and there was a slightly cracked doorway in which they brought me in. So this dark room, there's a door in front of me, cracked, so I could see the light of the hallway. So I'm staring at the hall, hoping somebody would come through the doorway to say, console me. Actually, I'm hoping to see my mother come back through the doorway. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a nun, looking for anybody. I'm looking for my mother to come back and say, time to go home. She didn't come, so I just kept on crying. So as the night went on, I can't tell you the hour. I see this light begin to come through the back of the room. The back and the corner of the room. So I'm looking towards this way, but I see my peripheral vision of light coming back that way. And I look and it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And the reason why I remember this so clearly because it was so profound to me, it left an imprint. Mm-hmm. It left a memory in my mind that I cannot shake. I see it as clear today as I saw it at that day a long time ago. And I saw this light, it got brighter and brighter and brighter. And then this beautiful voice said to me, don't worry, she'll be back. She'll be back, and we'll be here too. We'll be watching over you. We'll be here. We'll always be here. And then it began to fade away. But the feeling and the comfort of that voice and of that feeling that I felt when I witnessed that, it calmed me down. Yeah. It calmed me down. I felt comfortable, and when she said don't worry, and the light faded away. It faded back. But I knew that what I experienced was real. It wasn't trauma. It wasn't any of the thoughts that can come behind someone who hasn't had this experience. Mm-hmm. It was real.
Yeah. And so I think that, and you're telling that, so from that point on, based on what you was talking about in the story, and that you kept searching for it.
Mm-hmm. With that experience, I witnessed something that was phenomenal.
Right.
Right.
What we would consider interdimensional from
Right.
another.
I've seen, now I continue to follow that same voice. I continue to follow that same vibe, that same image, because I still see that, and I've seen it all along the journey. Whenever I'm faced with moments, it comes in people. I see it in people. I hear it in moments, and I know, and I can follow that. I follow that like breadcrumbs through the forest.
Right.
And it always leads me out into the clearing. It always brings me to where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. I think many people have experiences like that, but they don't know, they don't take them as real. And I think children have those experiences, and because adults, like when children say, my play friends and things like that, they have those experiences. But then as they get locked down into this experience, then they think that that wasn't real. And adults are telling them it was just fantasy or made up.
Well, this is what I want to deliver. And it also comes through the book, my Message of True Descendants. Everyone has an angelic overseer. That's what we have. There are things that we have with us that watches over us as we go through the journey of life. We all have that angel watching over us that comfort us when our heart is broken. She'll comfort us when we are confused. They comfort us. These are things that we all have, that we experience the feeling of,
Right.
but don't necessarily understand what it is that is happening.
Right.
But we do know that after that moment, we feel content, and we have the ability to continue forward in our journey.
Right. And so the thing is for us to be able to identify and recognize it, because, like in different spiritual systems, they call it something different. So I think it's, and a lot of us may have had that similar experiences, but because once we get locked into this reality, we lose touch with that
Right.
guide or that guardian, or whatever
because
it is we want to call it.
we look out, because we've been taught to look elsewhere for our guide.
Exactly.
We're taught to look elsewhere.
Right.
But we all have them. So what we're trying to do now is allow you to open up to be able to use these God-given abilities to help navigate
Through life.
From this day forward, further on, if you're
Right.
not already using them, which many of us are.
Well, what I think happens though, is as we get locked into this reality, because one of the things I can't wait till we get to start talking about the dimensions, because we definitely live in an interdimensional world, right? Where we're connected to all these different realms that we just can't see, but so we don't think they're real. But I think what happens is once we get locked into this reality, and particularly in this culture, because we're so material oriented and we're so focused on the outer things, that we lose touch with that. And
Well, we lose touch with what truly gives you comfort.
yeah.
A video game truly doesn't give you comfort.
It gives you some joy or happiness.
It gives you fulfillment, entertainment or fulfillment in a briefer moment.
Right.
But it doesn't comfort you through life.
Right.
We're talking about things that can comfort you through life, from 3 years old to 100 years old, and they'll still be just as comforting, but just as clear as they were from the moment you allowed yourself to open and see it and
Right.
feel it.
If you look at most of the cultures all throughout the world, recognize what you just talked about, that guardian, that divine being, what we're calling the divine being of light, because you truly had an experience with a divine being of light, and because you recognized it as a child, and you stayed with you, and you continue to seek it, then it became your reality. See, a lot of us, it gets cut off because we get...
Well, not only did I seek it, it sought me.
Right.
Because I remembered, I accepted, and I received it. They come to me. So I don't have to search for that.
Right.
It's a part of who I am. It's a part of me.
And I think it's a part of all of us on some level, but we have to be in tune with it and in touch with it.
Right. I had a conversation with someone earlier, and they said, I seek it, and it's with me all the time. And I'll say, well, it's with me all the time, but I don't see it all the time, which means I may have this experience or this, this moment once every 5 years or 10 years. I may have it 3 times in a year. I may have it once in 10 years. So it's not an everyday occurrence.
Okay.
Right. It's not
Right.
everyday occurrence because it's not every day that I am in need of that.
Okay.
They only come when I'm in need.
Mm.
The good news is because I'm so stable and balanced, then my need for that service is becoming less and less and less and less and less because I'm on my track.
So, okay, so very, very interesting, and I think that the experience you had, again, I think a lot of people have those experiences, but I think the difference, because you have some people who I think come to the planet more gifted, or more evolved, and I'm saying that from the standpoint of spiritually, that because like from my experience with you and from what you've told me, that you see, right? And
Right.
so some
Now,
people,
it's not gifted and it's not even evolved.
mm-hmm.
It's open.
Okay.
You have to be open. You
Okay.
have to be open.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be dense in your perception of reality.
Right.
You have to be open.
Oh, you can't be closed in your perception
Right.
of reality.
Well,
right.
dense because you're never really closed because you're always growing. And every day that we have the ability to walk,
Yeah, but
we're learning something.
I know we are, but some people close up purposely. Some people are closed to
right.
certain
categories.
Right, but I'm just saying some people are just closed. So you have people, some
Right.
people even doing the spiritual walk, like because they get locked into certain doctrine, they just close to
Right.
other
Right.
or other ideas or other realities.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
just saying. Like,
Right. They're closed when they feel they found their answers.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
But until you found your answers, you're just dense in many cases.
Okay.
Until when density comes from saturation of information that's not necessarily
Help you.
healthy for you or good for you.
Right.
It's just a bunch of stuff.
Right. Okay.
So in order for you to see beyond and see the good things that are for you, you have to look beyond all the stuff that's not always the best for you.
So I was thinking it's both. Okay, so it's density and being open, because saying that to me, saying that you have to be open, I think you have to really, that needs to be emphasized. Mm-hmm. Because some people, even though I might feel like I've found the answer, but if you open, you might even find even more.
You will find more, because the bottom line is this: every day we're always changing.
You're open, but open for truth. But that's the other thing too, because your heart has to be seeking truth. Because you can be open, you're open to the wrong things.
Right.
But I'm saying just open. Open as well.
Your heart has to be open to be able to receive what's behind what's not always present.
Right. What we can't see, right?
What we can't see. What I mean by that is this. I'm faced with a situation where I could just be in a situation to where I may have run across somebody who just got involved and had a bad experience. And now I am innocent, and I'm just using this. This is really surface. It's really simple.
Right.
But somebody had a bad experience before we crossed paths, and so now they're still feeling the energy of that situation. And now I speak to them, and now they're angry. Then now they lash out at me because that's just what they're feeling. But I know that I didn't cause that.
Right.
So I have to know that I'm not accepting that because there's something else going on, and they might need me to console them in a different way because I have to look behind what that action or reaction was to really get to what's really going on, because I have an open heart and I'm caring.
Right, gotcha.
Versus if me being dense and I really don't care, and I'm gonna kick you too. While that's so there's ways to look at that.
Right.
That probably wasn't the best way.
Well, I mean, but that's a good example. But I also think the example when we talk, because now we're talking about spirituality, and I'm just trying to be clear, because when you go down these roads, a lot of people are where they are. Right?
But don't you know that everything is spirituality? Everything is spirituality.
Right.
Everything.
But so that's what I'm saying as we go along and start having these conversations. I hope but I keep talking about when I'm saying being open, that regardless of whatever your religious or spiritual orientation is, just be open.
You know what? Right. and I hope that one day we're going to have a conversation on what does spirituality look like.
Right. We're definitely going to do that.
Right.
I'd like to do that.
What does it look like to you?
Right.
Because that's a box as well.
Right. Well.
And some people.
Yeah, some people get stuck in a particular box.
A particular box of what it's supposed to look like, because we've been conditioned through material, through other ways, many ways that says that if it doesn't look like this, then it's not this.
Right. Right. If it doesn't look like
If
this,
it
it's
doesn't look
not
like
real.
this, it's not real. It's not spirituality. It's something else.
Right. And I think that was a good point you made. That everything is spiritual.
Yeah, everything is
Everything
spiritual.
is. You know,
Everything.
so when you try to,
Right.
and that's part of the dilemmas that we find ourselves in this culture, because we separate it. The most profound things we can say, or is that for everything seen is the unseen.
That's right.
For
That's
everything
right.
seen is
For
the
everything.
unseen.
Everything.
Right.
Everything.
And so just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
That's right.
Right. And there's something behind everything. And so when we get clear about that reality, then we'll be more clear about what spirituality is. And
You know, there's a lot of categories, a lot of categories, a lot of things that you have the power to do, power to manifest, the power to create, power to produce, and power to overcome.
Right.
You know, again, book of messages, it's in there. Okay, it's in there. I want you to get it, take a read, and let's have a conversation about it.
Okay. I'm Dr. Heter.
I'm Mu Skher Aakhu, also known as Brother Spear.
And this is Universal Consciousness, where we promote love, light, and consciousness.
That's right, because it's beyond, and it's beyond.